What happens in our body and in our head when we get mistreated, when somebody is abusive toward us? For most of us, part of us wants to speak up, but maybe even a bigger part wants to be quiet, wants to pretend like nothing happened, is embarrassed, doesn't want to speak out loud about it. Certainly in a family that I grew up in, nobody spoke about stuff. So the tendency was just compartmentalize it, shove it away, ignore it, and act as if everything's totally fine when internally things are tumultuous, right? So something bad happens to us. Typically, we feel it in the solar plexus as a sense of powerlessness. Often there's something rising up from there, which is disgust sometimes. But just a feeling in the solar plexus, it's like there's a ball there and it's either empty or really heavy or both. It impacts your breathing. Certainly it impacts how you digest food, what's going on in your stomach. And often there's a constriction, sometimes a feeling in the throat where if we don't speak up, or we feel like if we do speak up, that we're not going to be heard anyway. And so this is like the little kid part of us, that hurt little child. And then there's an adult part of us, maybe even more of a rage part of us that's really angry, that's really upset, that wants to speak up. Initially, it's usually the little kid, the emotional part that is shrinking, freezing, or just trying to please everybody else so that there's no problem, because it doesn't feel safe to speak out about it. Hopefully, over time and with support, the more adult part of you ends up feeling empowered enough to speak up somewhere to somebody. It needs expression through song, through art, through sometimes through exercise, but it needs acknowledgement, sometimes through journaling. But ideally, we share it with somebody who's trustworthy, who can help us make sense of it all, because we're triggered. And when we're triggered, we can't really